What's up, guys? Brian here. Just thought I would do a quick video for you guys. I didn't make it to church today because my son was sick. Give me a second to get down here. Figured I'd do a video in here so I can keep the kids happy. Oh, sorry about that. What's up, guys? So as the title says, I've been looking for a dozer. If you've been on my Instagram, then you've seen that I bought one. So what's up, Ben? What's up, guys? I'm trying to find a good position for this stupid camera thing. There's never a good position. Anyways, I'll just hold you guys. So basically, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, I started looking for a dozer because I figured basically I had to spend some money so my tax burden would be less, right? So I wouldn't have to pay as much tax. So I had to spend some of my income, the gross income. So I figured excavator was going to be a little too much on the price range, right? So I figured I would look in different ways that I could spend some money without spending a ton of money, right? So I don't know how I thought of a dozer, but I just thought of a dozer, right? And then I was watching some videos about land clearing. Maybe that's where I seen a dozer or something. I seen this guy making a pond or something, and anyways, so I started investigating dozers, and I was looking on Craigslist. I found 2 or 3 or 4 that I had liked, and then I went and talked with a buddy, and he's basically was an operator for 20 years, I think is what he said. He's been an operator for 20 years. And his brother also was an operator. And they told me, basically for what you're going to use, Brian, you want nothing smaller than like a 450. Is basically, don't get smaller than a 450 because a 350 is just a little too small. Anyway, so that canceled out some of them that I was looking at. And then, because why get a 350 when I have a backhoe? Basically, a 350 is only going to do just as much as a backhoe does, basically. No point in getting one. So I started looking on Craigslist. I found some ones that I liked, and I texted them to him, and he's like, "Oh, you don't want that thing. That thing's from the 40s or whatever." And I was just teasing him. But then I found this one. It was like 2 hours away, right? It was like a 2-hour drive. And what's up? What's up, man? So I started going south, right? Started heading there with my wife, and we got halfway there, and the guy called me up. He's like, "Hey, man, the dozer's not starting. I think the fuel filter's trashed or something. Turn around, better come back when I have it running 100%. And I said, okay. So I left, and then he said it had gotten sold the next day or something like that. And then I guess this guy's like a broker guy, so he finds equipment and then tries and sells it, and that's how he makes his money. And so he found another dozer. He sent me some pictures of it. It was a TD9 International, and it looked pretty good in the pictures. It looked kind of used, obviously. It had the front trunnions, which are the hydraulic rams that come from the top to the bottom. We're definitely going to get a roller, but not right now. But yeah, so it was pretty cool looking. I thought it was the perfect size. My buddy's like, yeah, it's worth taking a look at. So me and him drove down there Saturday to go take a peek at it. And the guy was firm on the price, obviously, because he's a broker and he wants to make money. He's not going to make any money if, he drops his price, right? So we show up and we're looking at it, and it looks, I don't know if you guys have seen my grandpa's backhoe yet, but it looked like it had been through a few wars. It was pretty beat up. So my buddy, the guy, walks up, and we're trying to start the thing, and we get it started after about 20 seconds or 30 seconds or something like that. And it's just smoking. Basically, like if you've watched any of the beginning videos of when I bought this dump truck, basically smoked like that when we started it, right? And I'm like, oh, not again. I don't want to go through that all over again, but I personally, I was set on buying the thing before I even saw it. See, I do this thing where I get emotionally attached to something, and it really F's me over in the long run because I buy stuff without really thinking it through, right? And, but I had already written, so kind of give you a little detail. I had already written a bill of sale for this thing. I hadn't even looked at it. I already had a bill of sale written out, like I was prepared to buy it. I'm buying it, and then thank God I brought my buddy along because, he pushed the dirt, and it pushed dirt, it did a decent job from what I could see. My buddy said the controls are really difficult. They're not normal controls. Also, the winch wasn't working on it. The blade pins were all wore out. It was kind of sloppy. Like you move it and like you go up to it and you can shake it, and it would shake a lot, So it was, pretty wore out. The tracks and stuff weren't that bad. My buddy was saying they're probably at like 40 to 50%, I think is what he said, maybe 30. The grousers, which are the parts that give you the traction, those were probably 30%, he was saying. But they looked more like 40 or 50 to me, but I don't know. Anyways, so after he got done pushing some dirt, the other guy was kind of over there with his baby, right? And I looked at him, I said, so honest opinion, what do you think? Because I'm thinking in my head, yeah, he said, do it. I'm thinking he's going to say bye. And he looks at me and he says, tell him that we're going to go look at another dozer on our way back home and we'll get back to him. And right. And I said, okay. And then I didn't really get the chance to tell him that. And then my buddy goes and parks the dozer. And then immediately he's like, okay, we're going to take off and go look at another dozer. We'll get back to you, I'm thankful he, said that, because I was thinking, oh, we're going to buy it, immediately, and then, but he, so that's the type of person you want to bring with you. The guy that's going to give you a straight answer of what you really think, right? So we got in the car, we took off. I'm like, okay, so give me the scoop. What do you think? What do you think? And he's like, well, basically, if it were me, you're going to want to think really hard on this before you buy it, right? And he's like, if it were me, I'd probably pass on it because for a few extra $1,000, you could buy something that's going to last you a decade instead of a year or two, basically. Because he said, what if something breaks on this thing, like the finals or something, and then it's just going to be an expensive piece of yard art, right? Those are his exact words. If something major breaks on it, it's going to be an expensive piece of yard art, right? So, he, was basically telling me, I don't think it's the best decision personally if it were me. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to take your advice. I'm not going to buy it. Right. So I was kind of a little sad, right? Because I had in my head, I had all these dreams and visions of what I was going to do with it. And then we decided we weren't going to buy it. I'm like, okay, well, the search begins again. Right. So I drop him off. I get home and then start looking on this uh, machinery trader, I think is what it's called, machinerytrader.com. And I'm looking, and I could not figure this stupid website out on how to do filters, right? On how to filter the search. Well, as soon as I got home, I finally figured it out, right? I figured out how to do the filters. So I put the filters in I wanted, and immediately, two dozers popped up, and I'm like, dude, we got to look at these. And so I sent my buddy a picture of this International TDC7, right? And I sent him a picture of like a D6 or something that was in Seattle, but it was a lot older. But, I figured, hey, we're sending him a picture of it and see what he says. And he's like, well, that TD7 looks like twice the machine of the one we just looked at, right? And I'm thinking, okay, let's go look at it right now. And he's like, well, I got stuff to do, And so on the machinery trader page, it said that the sale price was $9,950, right? So I called him up. I said, hey, basically, what's your bottom dollar? What's your brown bag price, as Justin would say? What's the cash price? What's the lowest you're going to go? And he's like, well, we already got an offer in from this guy in California for $9,000, right? And I said, okay, well, I'll come down and look at it today. I got cash, right? So right then we dropped them basically $1,000 right there. And then I got up there, I drove around the back, and the dozer was just sitting there. It was cold. I went and touched it, and then I just started looking at everything, touching, the on the track pads, there's like a chain link, right? You can feel the pins, and you can feel how worn they are, if they're worn or not. If they're worn on the top or worn on the bottom, I mean, that's a good indication of, like, if they're worn on the top, then the pins have already been turned, right? So they're 50%. If they haven't, then, then you still got more life in them, 60, 70%, basically. Looking at the grousers, looking at the sprocket, checking the fluids, and, just looking everything over. And, that was before I went and got anybody. And then I'm thankful because I got there, and then I went to go into the office, and then there was just some yard kid that was around there. He was like 20 or something. And I said, hey, I'm here to look at the dozer, after I had already looked it over by myself, checked all the fluids and stuff. And then I said, hey, have you ever ran this machine? What do you think about it? And what do you think about the price? I asked him all these questions, and he's just a yard kid. He don't know nothing, but right. So he was being honest with me, right? And I think it's a little high on the price, but it's an older machine, but it's a good runner, And he was just telling me all this stuff about it and how they were using it a little bit, and they supposedly they bought it for this job, but it was just a little too small for the job, so they ended up putting it off to the side, and they were using a different dozer. Yeah, no, the TD9 is a great dozer, but this particular one it's when we first heard it fired up, I could have swore that there was some sort of miss or something in the engine. It just didn't sound quite right to me. And that was one of the things in my head that I was thinking. That was the only thing and the smoke that was kind of telling me, you probably don't want to buy this one, Brian. But I still had in my mind that I wanted to buy it until my buddy told me not to. Anyways, back to me looking at this other dozer. So the kid was telling me all about it, and I said, okay, well, where's the guy that I talked to on the phone? And he was like, yeah, I'd love to go to one of those auctions. I really just want to go to just watch and see what there is, what kind of stuff they have, and what kind of prices stuff go for. But yeah, so I was talking to him, and I was like, you're the guy I talked to on the phone, right? And he's like, no, you must have talked to this guy. He already left. And I said, well, tell him to get his butt back here because I got cash and I want to talk about the price. You know, I want to buy this today if I can. You know, and so I had him go push some dirt with it. I had him spin around and do everything because I've never been on a dozer. To this day, I still have never sat on a dozer seat. Right? I've seen them. My buddy showed me everything to look for, but I still, to this day, have not sat in a dozer. Right? I know it's crazy. It's crazy. And so he goes over. Oh, and I noticed, so on down where the tracks are, right? There's this big pin in the back. I don't know what it's called. It's like probably about that thick. And right behind there is basically part of the frame of the dozer. Anyways, there's this crack. It's probably about 7 or 8 inches long on it, right? Which is probably pretty serious, but I'm a welder, so it's not that serious to me. But I was like, oh man, look at that crack, man. That thing's, you know, just staring me in the face. I just kept dogging him about the crack, and I said, well, I'll tell you what, honestly, I can't really do 9,000 because of that crack. I mean, the guy in California doesn't know about the crack, so you're going to have to tell him about it too, and he's probably not going to want it, you know, and I'm telling him all this stuff like, oh, if I have to pay somebody to do this, it's going to cost thousands of dollars. You know, so the guy that came back, he was like 24, I think, 24 or something, so he's just a kid too, right? And I said, I'll tell you what, 8,500 cash and I'll take it away from you. And he's like, I don't know, man. My boss, he said 9,000 was firm, and you know, we already have an offer in for 9. And I said, yeah, but I'm here with cash, and the guy doesn't know about the crack. As soon as you tell him about the crack, he's gonna change his mind, you know. And I said 8,500 cash, I'll take it away. I'll come back and pick it up on Monday. And he's like, okay, I guess I'll just deal with the heat from selling it under, but $500 ain't that much under. And I was thinking, yeah, $500 ain't a lot. It's a lot of money. I mean, $500 is $500. That'll pay for my fuel to get there in my personal vehicle and back, and my dump truck and back a few times, you know. So I'm thinking, yeah, $500 is $500, you know. And so I put down $1,000 deposit. And we're going to pick up this dozer on Monday. And then you guys are going to see pictures. You guys, if you're not part of the Instagram, check out the Instagram. I posted a picture of the dozer. It is just a sweet dozer, 6-way blade. Can't wait to do a walk around for you guys. You guys are going to love this thing. So we bought a dozer, $8,500. I feel really good about it. I felt good about it as soon as I heard that thing fire up. Man, the motor on the TD7, ooh, that thing just purrs, man. It sounds so good. I bought a International TDC 7, 6-way blade. Carson. So, it's a little bit smaller than the TD9 that I was looking at. But it has a 6-way blade instead of a 4-way blade, which the TD9 had a 4-way. It's a 72 International TDC 7, right? And it is just a sweet little dozer. I mean, this thing has tons of power. They went over and pushed some rock with it. I was impressed. And, you know, the thing is just a little tank. I mean, it really is. It's cool. It's going to be super cool. We're going to do lots of videos for you guys on, you know, I'm going to weld that crack up, and we'll, you know, I'll just do tons of videos, land clearing and stuff like that. So, yeah, basically, we found a dozer on Machinery Trader. We bought it. We're going to go pick it up Monday. So, hence the empty trailer in the thumbnail that I took. So I probably won't do a video Monday of me picking it up because things get hectic when you're picking up equipment, and, you know, passing out money, you know, and signing stuff. So things will probably be too crazy for me to do a video. But Tuesday, if I don't have any work, for sure, I'll do a video, walk around, everything, showing you guys the controls and everything. Yeah. I mean, the TD, I was watching I was watching YouTube videos of the TDC 7, and dude, those things are tanks, man. They really do. They're built stout. And I was talking to some friends, and every single one of them was saying, dude, those things are tanks. They are built very stout. They're built really robust. So I think we got a good smoking hot deal on it. They were trying to liquidate it before the slow season. Their loss, our gain. So we'll definitely, you know, do some videos with that. That would be super cool. Did any of you guys see the picture? Please comment in the chat if you got to see a picture of the Dozer. Tell me what you think if you've seen it. Definitely tell me in the chat if you guys have seen that Dozer. I wish I could show you a picture on here, but I don't know how to do that while I'm videoing. Yeah, I mean, I understand that. You know, it's just like my truck too. Parts are hard to come by. But they would have been even harder for like a 50s or a 60s International compared to a 72. I mean, parts are still available for 70s models, but 50s and 60s, I mean, you're really hard pressed to find. You're better off buying another, you know, thing and then using pieces from it. Yeah, you liked it? The home and auto shop. What's your name? I didn't catch your name. Yeah, John, you'll see the video. The crack, not a big deal for me. I'm a welder, so I can weld anything up if I want to. If you guys have seen Tyler, thanks for checking out the Instagram, Tyler. Or the Facebook. I'm not sure which one you're on. I did a video of me repairing the drop axle assembly on this dump truck. I mean, if you've seen the videos, I'm a pretty decent fabricator, right? And the frame was all twisted up and cracked. Anyways, I went in there, cut it all out, straightened it up, re-welded it, put some braces on there, and it hasn't had a single issue, right? Except for the vibration, which had nothing to do with the cracks and stuff. That was just bushings and shocks that was causing that, and the toe-in. That was a major problem too. But yeah, even after all the shaking and stuff, the drop axle is still in mint condition after I repaired it. So yeah. I mean, there are things to think about. The guy was operating it flawlessly. It didn't seem to affect anything personally. Like, I seen him, you know, when he was driving, it was vibrating just a little bit. But I'm thinking what happened is maybe they rammed something really hard, or, you know, or maybe it rolled over or something. I don't know what would cause that crack. They probably rammed something without, you know, like a tree or something, without really taking the time to dig under it or something like that. Yeah. I mean, International, that brand has been around for a long time. They have built some really good equipment, you know, so they're very trustworthy. Yeah, it's probably from operator error. Exactly. But we'll see what happens. I'll sand off their weld and, you know, grind out some of the metal and then re-weld it up a few times. And then you know, we'll keep a close eyeball on it. And if it cracks again, then I'll put some braces on it. But I'm not too concerned because it didn't look that major to me. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm super excited though. And please check out the Instagram page. If you don't know where that is, just go to my main page. Definitely stick welding. I'll probably use 7018 welding rod. That stuff has some pretty high tensile strength. Yeah, check out if you go to my page, there's little icons at the top, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon. Click on that, it'll take you straight to it. Don't forget to pound that like button, guys. Pound the subscribe button. Also, I wanted to do a quick shout out to this guy. If you guys like my videos, you'll probably like this guy. His name is Andrew. I'm going to butcher his last name. Camarada or something like that. The dude is slaying it on YouTube. He's got like 90,000 subscribers, right? But he is basically me, but in the future. Like, the dude buys used equipment just like I do. And yes, I'm getting into the excavation side of the industry, Carson. The dude buys used equipment and he works his butt off. The guy is a stud, man. This guy, he has a lot of drive just like me. And I feel like he's kind of like an idol to me. Yeah, dude, I was watching, dude, this guy, he's built this castle out of containers. It is so cool looking. I mean, and then just watching how he built it. This guy is so me. Like, he was using a crane, right, to lift up a trailer, and he was sitting in the trailer welding it up. It was the coolest thing. Yeah, he's a super cool guy. Like, I haven't talked to him personally. I reached out to him and sent him an email. Who knows if he'll respond. He seems like a very busy guy, constantly working, so he may not respond. But if he ever watches one of these live streams or checks in, I just want to tell you, dude, you rock. Love your work. Your videos are stellar. Love the drone footage. He's got some really cool drone footage. And I really envy him because I really want to do some drone footage. But I got 2 drones, but both of them, when I got them, they were supposed to, I bought them in an auction, right? And they're supposed to have little memory cards that are formatted for the drone, but they didn't come with them. So I haven't had any luck with doing any footage. I've tried using my memory card. It just won't work. So eventually I'm going to have to pony up and buy a drone, that I can do. Carson, honestly, I have no clue what they charge. I was thinking probably anywhere from $100 an hour to probably $130 an hour. I don't know what they really charge, but I know they're in that area somewhere around here at least. So I have some more investigating to do. Personally, I'm not going to charge less than $100 an hour, I don't think. That just seems really cheap to do work, with expensive equipment. If something breaks, it just doesn't seem like it'd be worth it. So definitely $100 an hour or more, but obviously I can drop my price because I own my equipment 100%. So, I mean, if I'm struggling to find work, I could drop the price, but I don't want to race to the bottom. Really, $250 an hour for a dozer? That's quite a bit of money. I mean, they probably can make that. I don't see why they can't make that. I personally am not going to be in a race to the bottom because I don't have to make payments, so I don't need to work as much as somebody that has payments. The guys that have payments, they have to work. They have to make their payments. I don't have any payments. So, you guys never seen this jacket yet. Orange, blue lettering, VANDUYN dump trucking. My wife's mom and dad, so the in-laws, they bought me this coat, and then I had it embroidered. Super nice raincoat, by the way. Super nice. I love it. Orange and blue. Can't get better than that. So, that's cool. Which is going to come in handy this winter, because it rains a lot in Washington. So, We got that. Let's see. You guys already seen the backhoe. I never really showed you guys the thumb I welded on there that well. At least I don't remember showing you. I'll tell you an interesting story about that. So when I bought the backhoe, I ended up doing some work for this lady that I bought the backhoe from, right? And basically it was 3 dump truck loads of concrete I had to take out of there. Had to remove it. And basically I ended up breaking the thumb that I had welded on there. I didn't really weld it on there that good. I just kind of threw it on there because I figured, what the heck, if it breaks, I'll re-weld it. So I just kind of threw it on there where I thought it should be. And I'm glad I didn't weld it solid, because if I did, I would have been very disappointed with the thumb. But anyways, I was picking up concrete and I got halfway through like the second load or something, and the thumb broke off. But I took the time to reposition it, and I'm so glad I did, because I can actually use more pinholes now, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. So before, I could only have it in like one position, right? And it was basically useless almost. And anyways, I broke it off, put it on the way I wanted it, and I was doing some clearing down on my property, and this thing rocks. I mean, people hate mechanical thumbs, but let me tell you what, they rock. I mean, this thing is so strong. It was just snapping logs in half, and I'll show you some footage of that in one of the other videos that I got coming up probably. But let me show you the thumb. So basically it's sitting on the ground right now. But basically I had this, right, moved down right there. And then what I did was, see this, there's an extra bracket there. I didn't have that bracket attached. That pin was up there, right? So I could only move it so much. And anyways, it was too far angled this way. Now I can move that pin up to there, and I can really close it, right? So it makes it so much easier to pick stuff up. Let me get back to those comments. You guys need some cool comments on there I want to comment on. 125 an hour for your dozer. Yeah, that seems about more what it is. The cylinders on the dozer are in really good shape, no scarring or nothing. The pins, they're a little loose on the front. The blade is in pretty dang good shape. If you want to see if you want to get a better idea of it, check out the Instagram. I got one picture up on already of the dozer. Super cool. Anyways, guys, these tires are so beefy. I'm so glad I got these tires on, because I would have been stuck a million times if I hadn't put those on when I was down in Sheldon. I should have got off-road tires for the front, which I didn't. I got those ones, which, yeah, I learned my lesson. Next time I'll get off-road tires for the front. Had to do a small repair on this from when I was down on the property. I think I showed you guys the radiator hose got rubbed through and it was leaking. Also, I had to put a new bolt in this pin. The bolt fell out or something, got lost. That was a pain. But yeah, so that's the little update. The trailer is ready for the dozer. Ready for me to drive up to Arlington. I got my heavy duty ramps on there. Basically, there's a big pin. I don't know if I ever showed you guys how I did that. I put a lot of pictures on Instagram of me making it. I did not do a video of me making it though. So check out the Instagram if you want to see how I made that. Anyways, these things are monsters. They are heavy duty. And I love this stretched metal. This stuff is amazing for traction. And eventually I'll probably cover these boards with it, because I mean, like, these boards are so slippery when they get wet and oil on them. Yeah. Anyhow, I'll catch you guys later. Don't forget to pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, share this on your social media site of preference, and I will catch you guys later.